There definitely was new blood. We had Immortals, we had Complexity, we had VTJ, we had Optic, we had EG, and these were all teams that you never knew who was going to go to the next event because they were so tight. Sure, you could have favorites, and sure, maybe Optic, VTJ, and Evil Geniuses qualified to a majority of the events that were available. But we saw Immortals at a couple events. We saw Complexity at a couple events. It definitely wasn't uncontested. And this year it's a little bit different because you have the Immortal stack kind of dissolving, you have Optic dissolving entirely, and now you're kind of just left with, you have Complexity, you have EG, you have Forward Gaming, and you have this J-Storm. But overall, like, a lot of the teams that were competing in North America last year are not competing again this year. I made a team this year with 4 European players, mostly because that was my best opportunity to have success. You had Forward Gaming and Evil Geniuses that, they're a mix of North American and European players, but for the most part, like, it's just, when you go to make a team every single year, it's, hey, you pick the 4 best players that you can find that you think that you'll have some synergy with, and you just kind of commit and go after it. And this year it just so happened that the most experienced and the most talented players that were available were European. The current state of the NA scene, hard for me to say. I think that there's definitely some really strong teams, but the biggest problem is that there's no avenue for competition for teams that aren't at the highest level. And that's what I'm hoping to fix with NADCL, is to provide a platform for these teams that are trying to progress from an amateur level to aspire to that professional level where they can, live out their dreams of being a professional Dota player. But in order to get there, there needs to be a path towards success. And that is what NADCL is aspiring to be. It's aspiring to be a league that provides exposure for these players and these teams so that other people, big top teams can come and scout them. People want to come watch the games. They want to see the upcoming NA Dota players. Hopefully we can provide a prize pool for the league so that way teams have a sustainable life and they can commit a majority of their time to actually becoming a Dota professional, which is necessary, in my opinion, to find any success inside this game. I think it's a little tough I think it's maybe a little too early to say if NADCL will help teams find sponsors. I think that it really depends on the success of the league and the success of the teams of the league outside of the league. NADCL is all about kind of creating opportunity, right? You make a team, you compete, and sure, like, you might go fight up against these major and minor teams and lose, but you're going to learn so much from the experience, and those experiences are the ones that you can't miss out on throughout the year, because if you're not learning how to be a better teammate, learning how to be a better communicator, learning how to be a better Dota player, you're going to get left behind. And every year that time goes on, the more experienced players are just getting more experienced, and the gap is getting larger and larger and larger. And that's why we're not seeing any new teams and new players, for the most part, excluding a couple of exceptions, rising to the top. We had over 70 teams sign up for the NADCL, and I think a big reason for that was that people just wanted to play Dota. They wanted to have a place to regularly compete, regularly hang out with their friends, regularly train their skills. And when you play in these DPC major and minor qualifiers, you just kind of show up and get your butt kicked by the professional teams, and this league isn't that. It's about regular competition, it's about practicing, it's about improving, it's about growth, and the other competitions are kind of about that, but that's not their main goal. Then that is the main goal of the NADCL.